Greetings and welcome to the Pick a Card for the week of November 10th through November 16th, Sunday, November 10th through Saturday, November 16th. This week, we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifest your deepest desires. All right. So, what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed or your level of commitment in manifesting your deepest desires. So, you are to select from card group number 1, card group number 2. Oh, let me put this down first. Card group number 2 or card group number 3. Comment your card selections by Monday, November 17th in order to be entered to win our November giveaway. All right, so the results are in for our pick a card for the week of Sunday, November 10th through Saturday, November 6th. You are to select from card group number 1, card group number 2, or card group number 3. This week we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifesting your desires. And there's a real reason why I chose this particular focus for this week, and I will talk about that in my opening intuitive message. So you can click the timestamp down below to skip ahead to that message. If you would like to, you can go ahead and skip ahead to whichever card group that you selected. However, as I always state, it's very important that you listen to the opening message because it always connects in some kind of way to each reveal each of the card groups. All right. So it will give you deeper insight so that you can, be more powerful in what you're doing this week. Right. So real quickly, if you click the link in my description box below, you will see where you can actually book a personal reading. I have very few of those left. And so if you are interested in either the Magic of Me Intuitive Natal Chart reading, the mini edition of the Magic of Me Intuitive Natal Chart reading, and both of those, I'm looking at your birth chart and helping you to discover your purpose and have more clarity on who you are and why you attract what you attract and the money you make and why you like who you like and all of that sorts of things. So much deeper than that. But anyway, that information is down below. If you just have a general question about your life that you need some clarity on, then book the Clarity Now reading. And that is also, you can access that from that link there as well. Also get my book, The Magic of Self-Love, because what I've discovered in a lot of the readings the private readings that I do for people is that a lot of the questions that you all have are very much connected to some level or lack of self-love. And self-love actually is a magical tool that can transform your life for the better. And so get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. Also, we are in the middle of Mercury retrograde. And a lot of times this is the time where people stay losing. Like they start losing money. They start having petty arguments, miscommunication, and whatnot. And a lot of people, because of that, are afraid of the Mercury retrograde period. However, Mercury retrograde is actually a very powerful time to help you to see, if you're paying attention, if you know how to pay attention, to see the gaps in your own personal life that need to be filled. So that you can position yourself more powerfully and more strongly. All right. So we are like right in the middle of Mercury retrograde right now. And so if you want to know how to get past surviving Mercury retrograde and you actually want to use it so that you can thrive, in your relationships, in your money, in just so many areas of your life, your communication, whatever, right? Then click down below, you will see a link for my audio class called the 10 Tips for Surviving. Excuse me, why am I saying my own class wrong? The 10 Tips to thriving, y'all. 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde. And so that link is down below. And that 1 hour audio class is only $10. And I only am giving it at that price or selling it at that price for just a few more days and only for a few more people. So you want to make sure you get that. And you can also leave me a donation, also known as a love offering, via Cash App and PayPal. And those links are down below as well. All right. So our opening intuitive message for this week, y'all. Okay. So this week is such a hugely powerful week. We are still in Scorpio season. And if you watch my video that's on YouTube, that's called Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. You know that Scorpio season is the time for all of us, no matter what our sun sign is, whether you're an Aries, a Pisces, a Sagittarius, Libra, it doesn't matter. Scorpio season is the time when we are all encouraged to tap into our inner alchemist, right? Our inner alchemist, that part of us that is powerful enough to transform any situation into what we want it to be. So the alchemists historically were the ones who, the goal was always to change or transform lead into gold, to transform lower energy into higher energy. So when we look at this time period with us being in Scorpio season, with us having this Mercury retrograde, it's like the perfect time to access those powers that we all have. Instead of being bombarded by the challenges, the desires, or the wants that you feel like you can't have, and just, hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, Scorpio season encourages us all to dig deep, to go super deep, to pull out that inner gold, that inner wealth, whether it's actually money, or ideas, I should say, that can be transformed into money, because Scorpio season is all about transformation. Or ideas that can be transformed into love relationships, or transforming a relationship that is waning or dying or suffering, and transforming it into a loving relationship. Or vice versa. If it's something that you're dealing with, or a person you're dealing with that you need to no longer deal with in your life, then transforming it in the opposite direction so that you can elevate and move forward. So we're in the middle of Scorpio season, which is the time for all of us to learn how to transform, to stop being like, I can't have this because, this, that, and the other. I don't have enough money. I don't have the talent. I don't have the skill. I don't have, Scorpio always encourages us to go deep into the gold within ourselves, and to pull that out and forward. No matter what the challenge is, no matter what the obstacle. And so the link should be a link below also to watch Everybody's a Scorpio, including you, because I go into heavy detail about Scorpio season there, and then I go through each sign. So like if you're an Aries, what you should be doing during Scorpio season. If you're a Taurus, what should you be doing during Scorpio season? Gosh, can any of y'all say that 5 times? During Scorpio season? Okay. That was about to be a tongue twister. Anyway, and so, I highly encourage you, if you want to know more about that, to watch that particular video. But also the reason why this week is so powerful is that not only are we still in Scorpio season, but we are experiencing a full moon in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus, that full moon, I believe, will occur on November 12th, depending on where you are in the world. I believe I think this time everybody might go into that full moon on the same day. But on November 12th, we will experience a full moon in Scorpio's opposite sign, which is Taurus. So while Scorpio is all about digging deep, going within and pulling out, going into the deepest, darkest recesses of your mind, your spirit, those hidden places within yourself that you may have neglected or ignored, Taurus, its opposite sign, is all about pulling things into being, into light, into life. So where Scorpio is in the hidden darkest places, Taurus represents more of the living light places, and neither one is good or bad. I don't. So just for clarification purposes, I don't know who's watching. So Scorpio isn't bad and Taurus isn't good. There is no good or bad as it relates to the signs. All of the signs serve a purpose. And that's why I have these other videos called Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. Everybody's a Libra, including you. Everybody's a Virgo, including you. Because, all 12 signs of the zodiac are playing their role in our lives and are demonstrating themselves in our lives. They represent the 12 areas of our lives that we are all seeking to grow and elevate and master in. So Scorpio season it represents your deepest hidden desires, right? But Taurus energy is about that driving force, that focus, that drive, that commitment to bring those hidden desires into manifested fruition, to pull what is in the dark into the light, to pull, to transform. It helps Scorpio to transform those desires into manifested reality. And so this week, because we are in Scorpio season, and we are experiencing the full moon in the sign of Taurus. This week, we are all encouraged to look at our deepest desires, and the full moon in Taurus is challenging us, actually. Whenever we see a full moon, it's a challenge. That's why they say people go, start acting crazy on full moon, or the wolf comes out, right? People they transform into a wolf, right? That inner beast comes out. And that's because it's like the moon is challenging the sun. They're standing exactly 180 degrees apart from each other in the sky. They're kind of standing off in front of one another, like, I'm here, I see you, and you see me, right? So, what that means is that as it relates to a Scorpio sun and a Taurus full moon, is that those hidden desires, all of those things that you try to keep secret, all of those wishes and things that you want for your life that you're afraid to talk about, afraid to go after, afraid to push forward toward, or things that you maybe think just, there's no possibility for them to be manifested. The Taurus full moon is challenging that and saying, okay, but look, you said you wanted this, so what we gonna do? You said you wanted to have this in your life, so what you waiting for? And to be honest with you, with it being a full moon instead of a new moon, and with this being at the end of the year, it is really challenging us to acknowledge whether or not we've actually used our time in 2019 effectively to manifest, to bring about the things that we say that we want. So Taurus is the sign of that represents our values. What do you say you value? I have these gold $100 bills here, as a symbol of value. Money has a value, even if it's not. People talk about, the dollar and other currencies not really being backed by anything, but there's still the value of faith that backs it, right? And so what is it that you value? It could be money for you. It could be family. It could be your health. It could be your education. That Taurus full moon is challenging us all to look at the things that we say we value and then ask ourselves, how committed have we been to the things that we say that we value and the things that we say that we want to manifest and bring into our lives. All right. So that is, just what my opening message that I just want us all to be aware of, and what we should all be focusing on this upcoming week, and what we may be feeling this week. Some of us, and I just kind of feel this intuitively, some people may be feeling disappointed only because, you start to look at how maybe things that you have not manifested, or things that you have not achieved and acquired and done. And so it's this temptation to be disappointed. And it's that temptation actually to go into the lower realm of Scorpio energy, which is being frustrated or jealous or envious of others who have done what you want to do. But I encourage you to stay on the higher end of Scorpio energy, which is about transforming energy, pulling, going down into the deepest, darkest places and finding value there. And then using this Taurus full moon to then pull the things that you value into the light. All right. Into, when I say light, I mean into being, into physical form. And so instead of being disappointed or discouraged or, just feeling like, sorry, I'm trying to make some adjustments here. But if you're tempted to feel any disappointment or tempted to feel like you're not as far along as you would like to be, even part of that is just an illusion. And so it's really, if you're feeling that way, it's really just a time for you to recognize that there are certain things that, perhaps you value and you desire for your life that you're not allowing yourself to have. Okay. So that is what we are looking at this week. And so that is pretty much it for this opening intuitive message. Again, make sure that you click the links down below to book a personal reading, get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. Go back and watch Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. And then also download my audio class, the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde season. I really feel like with this being the last Mercury retrograde of 2019, and this is the one I really believe, like, the people who can see the traps and get around it, the people who, don't get lured into unnecessary drama or don't let setbacks or any sort of hiccups or bumps in the road to stop them, will be the ones who are positioned properly for success for 2020. So you want to make sure, just invest in yourself. It's only $10, you know what I mean, for an over hour-long class. Make sure that you get that class while it is still available. All right, so that is it for our opening message. Make sure that you comment your card selections by Monday, November 11th, I think it is. Yeah. In order to be in the running to win our November giveaway. And every week that you comment, your name goes in the hat an additional time. So that increases your chances of winning. All right, so that's it. Those of you who selected card group number 1, your reading is up next. All right, greetings. Welcome to those of you who selected card group number 1. This is your reading. I will quickly go over the announcements for those of you who use the timestamp to skip ahead. Make sure you comment your card selection by Monday, November 11th if you want to be in the running to win our November giveaway. Every week that you do that, your name goes in the hat an additional time, so that increases your chances of winning the giveaway. Make sure you click the link below to book a personal reading. To get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. For a very limited time, I do have the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde season. I talked all about that in the opening intuitive message. So if you want to learn more about that, rewind this video and go back there. But those who, in a nutshell, those who know how to navigate this last Mercury retrograde will be well positioned for success for 2020. So you want to make sure you get download that audio. The link is down below. And also watch my video, Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. Again, I talked about that a little bit in the opening intuitive message. So make sure you rewind and watch that as well. And then make sure that you click below to leave a love offering or a donation. That is, I really, really appreciate that. That lets me know that you appreciate my work and that it matters to you and that you find it valuable. Nothing or no donation is too small or too big, but all donations are greatly appreciated. So thank you all so much who have donated. And thank you so much to everyone who has already commented your card selections on Instagram or Facebook. If you're not following me over there, make sure that you are following me on those pages. All right, so the stone that you received is a garnet. Now, in this lighting, it looks black, but it is really a very beautiful red. And if I think about it, I have a picture of this stone. If I think about it and I edit this video in time, I might just, sneak in a photo of that stone so you can see it in the sunlight because it's so beautiful. It's like a rich, dark wine red. Anyway, so garnet. Garnet is very much connected to the root chakra, or your base, your foundation. It really helps to, it's a stone of power. Like if you need to feel empowered, especially if you felt weak for any reason, garnet is one of those stones that's really, really good for empowerment, for helping you to feel rooted and grounded and safe and secure. It is one of those stones that can assist people in business with increasing their money, increasing their wealth, increasing the flow of abundance into their lives. But like I said, it's also a stone of protection. And if you got money, you also want to protect it, right? So, but it's also one of those stones, like a lot of stones, really, but this one in particular really can strongly assist with that sexual energy, adding passion and fire, and really ignite that passionate part of you and your that sexual part of your being, which is very interesting because with this, if you listen to my opening intuitive message, you already know. If you didn't, go back and watch that or listen to that. But in it, I touched on, with us being in Scorpio season, but also with this week, we are experiencing a full moon in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus and Scorpio are some highly sexual signs. Like they really, that sexual energy with both of those signs can be very heightened. So some of you this week might even feel a surge in your sexual potency, right? So garnet can help with that. Or your sexual desire, or those passions. But this week also is a great time because Scorpio and Taurus deal with money matters and the things that you value in life. And so this is also a great time to use this stone to help you in manifesting the things that you desire and manifesting abundance in different forms into your life. All right. So, you know what I always say, if you want to know more about this stone, because there's so much more that could be said about garnet, make sure you Google garnet. And, so that's, if you look at, this $100 bill, this gold $100 bill, and all of the groups this week have, a gold note on the top of their cards. And really this particular energy that we're experiencing right now with Scorpio and Taurus, it's a very, very, it's a time about pulling forth your desires into manifested form. It's about transforming your desires from just mere desires into physical manifested abundance, physical manifested reality. But this week we are specifically looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to being committed to manifest your desires. Because so often we want things, but are we committed to it? And with this being close to the end of the year, all of us are being challenged to look at how we have or have not been faithful and committed to manifesting the things that we say that we want for our lives. So the card right here that you see on top here is from a goddess energy deck. And the goddesses, before I pull a card from this deck, I always ask, which goddess, has a message, wants to speak to my audience this week. And so I don't know which goddess is here. Some of the goddesses I am familiar with, some I am still learning about. So when I flip this card over, I will give my own information about this goddess, but then I will also read the information as it connects to this card, or as it, I will read the information that is connected to this card. All right. Ooh, wow. She came up a couple of weeks ago. Kali. Look at her, y'all. The goddess Kali. And you see there it says liberation. Kali is a part of the Hindu tradition. And a lot of times she is, people just say, oh, she's a goddess of destruction, right? They'll just throw that in there without really going into detail or elaborating on that. I think it's very fitting that she appeared because we are in Scorpio season. Scorpio energy or season is the time for going into your deepest, darkest self. Is about going into they say you got to destroy in order to build. So you have to go into your deepest, darkest self to know what is working, what is not working, what do I need to eliminate, what do I need to get rid of, so that I can build anew. And with this full moon that we're experiencing this week in the sign of Taurus, that Taurus full moon is really going to be challenging many of you this week. Yeah. To ask yourself, like, look, what did you say at the beginning of the year that you wanted? What did you say even a month ago that you're not going to tolerate or deal with anymore in your life, or how you're going to make certain changes in your life? And are you actually doing that? Or are you still holding on to the things that you say that you wanted to let go of? And then that Scorpio sun is gonna be like, all right, time to get rid of it, right? So that's what Kali does. Part of what she this energy does, whether you believe in the goddesses as actual beings or just energy formations, or you just know their stories and you just feel that they are just stories to give us life lessons, it doesn't really matter right now. But the point is that the energy of Kali, she is destruction so that you can be free, so that you can be liberated. She is destruction of anything that keeps her bound, right? That keeps you bound, that keeps you tied up, that keeps you locked into a pattern that is unhealthy for you, right? She is all about, and she's powerful in it too. Like, she's not subtle and nice and sweet about it. It's not like, oh, I think I'm ready to be liberated. No. She's fierce. So when I see this goddess appear, I know that it's time to really surrender and let go of the things that you need to let go of, and to not play around with it, because to keep holding on to something that you should be letting go of is actually going to stunt your own growth. All right, so let's read what this card has to say, the information that comes with this card. I will read two messages. The first one is the empowerment message, and then the second one is the alignment message. The alignment message is designed to help you to know what to do in case you get out of alignment with what this, the message that this goddess has for you. All right, so the empowerment message says, you are being invited by the Hindu goddess of liberation and revolution, Kali, to address the aspects in your own shadow nature that have held you hostage to old ideas that no longer serve who you want to become. You can no longer define yourself by your victim story and expect to succeed in your life. There is a beauty in liberation that is deep, fierce, and courageous. It rises up from the willingness to break the chains of the past in order to transform into something new. What did I tell y'all before? That Scorpio season is all about transformation? I talked about it in my opening message. Hope you heard it. All right, continue. You may be afraid to set boundaries with others, but the goddess Kali has come to lend you her daggers, for you must cut ties with the familiar ideas about life that have determined your place in the world up until now. Have you been holding back on shining in the world because you are afraid of the reprisal or judgment of others? This helps no one. You must step into life authentic and glowing. Refuse to allow the potential judgment of others to affect you. Every day, claim your power to liberate yourself from others to affect you. Excuse me. Wait a minute. I read that line twice. Okay, wait. Okay, refuse to allow the potential judgment of others to affect you. Every day, claim your power to liberate yourself from caring what others think. When you are asking for the wisdom to live and contribute, to do no harm, and to serve for the highest good of all, none of this matters, even if you must tear down what has been built. Kali will help you whenever you need to be courageous, even when you are most afraid. Be fierce and be loving and be willing to learn. Life will respond in miraculous ways. Wow. So a lot of that is, like I kind of interjected there. A lot of this is what I said in my opening message. If you are still trying to hold on to things that are no longer serving you, it's time to let it go. And when Kali appears, that means it's time to let it go. You can't even be like, well, I'll let it go next week. Well, I think about it in the new year. Nope, it's time to do it now. All right, so the alignment message says, When resentment and anger fester below the surface, the unprocessed emotions simmer until they boil over. It's easy to project anger, envy, and ancient inherited rage on others we perceive as the source of our discontent. When something triggers these emotions, we can project onto strangers as well as the people closest to us. Nobody wins when so much pain is unleashed in the world. Take heart, for you are not alone. Know that rage and fury must have a place to be expressed, and you can use this energy to make something extraordinary and find a new way. The fierce liberation goddess Kali offers her daggers to help you cut the ties to stories you tell about your past once you have expressed and processed them. No matter what your conditions, your alignment task is to find a way to channel this rage, this anger, these feelings into creativity. Make something of it, of yourself, so you don't create destruction just because you can. Be willing to be teachable, even if it feels uncomfortable. When you know more, you can do better. Be willing to take full accountability for the energy you bring to the world. Kali knows the fierce, dark love she brings you will not always be comfortable. And the process of transformation requires rigorous self-honesty. You have what it takes. Now make something meaningful and be someone you're proud of. Oh my gosh, which is so powerful, y'all, because, you know, what's that line she just said? And the process of transformation requires rigorous self-honesty. Scorpio season is the season of transformation. It is the season, or it's the sign within all of us, because Scorpio is in everybody's chart. Scorpio is the sign that tells us that it is possible to transform anger into something more productive and effective for you. Now, it's not saying that you got to love everybody, like you got to be all love and light with everybody. Kali is not love and light with everybody. Scorpio season ain't love and light. Scorpio season is looking at the naked, unadulterated truth and seeing it for what it is and not being afraid of it, but loving yourself enough to know that, you know, maybe situations or people are no longer serving you, but even greater than that, y'all, there may be feelings that you're harboring. Feelings of resentment, feelings of jealousy, feelings of abandonment, feelings of fear, feelings of jealousy, anger, rage, right? And it's not really benefiting you. You know, rage is almost one of those feelings that you can't ever quench, right? Anger is never satisfied. So if there's something that you're angry about, this is the time to transform that feeling into something that is more beneficial and powerful to you. And actually, some people are benefiting from your anger. They enjoy getting you mad. They enjoy pissing you off. They enjoy watching you go into a rage because they know the more you do that, the further you are away from actually being productive and moving forward in an effective way so that you can succeed. Some people keep you angry because they don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you succeed. And if you just keep biting that bait, you know, that's not going to help you. So instead of using the lower form of Kali, you know, just to be destructive just because you can, to be angry just because you can, you know, or whatever, use that energy to break any ties to anything, stories you've told yourself, you know, stuff that was done to you in the past, people that perhaps in your life now, situations that's going on now, and cut the cord so you're not still so that your emotions aren't being used as a weapon against yourself. Liberate yourself. All right. So that is it. If you want to know more about this goddess, I highly suggest that you Google Kali. Like I tell y'all all the time, just Google, read her story, read her mythology, and just, you know, you might find deeper insight there as well. All right, y'all. So these cards here, I can pick them up. The ones on the bottom are your general information and energy, what you need to know. The card that crosses it helps you to know what can hinder or help you with that energy at this time. So let's see. Okay, so the card on the bottom is the Six of Pentacles, and the card that crosses it is the Four of Swords. The Six of Pentacles, and it's crossed by the Four of Swords. All right. And again, remember, we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifesting your truest desires. Wow. All right. So the Six of Pentacles is a card of balance. It's about staying in balance. It's about understanding the law of reciprocity. Many of you are saying y'all want this right here. This, this money. Like a lot of people want money, right? And the Pentacles a lot of times deal with money, but also in general with resources. With us being in Scorpio season and about to experience, depending on when you're watching this, we will experience a full moon in the sign of Taurus. And then, in my opening message, I talked about how Taurus is the sign of values, of staying committed enough to to do what's necessary to bring your values, what you value, into manifested form. So when I see the Six of Pentacles, I know that this is a week where you are highly encouraged. The law of reciprocity is very important for you right now. Giving and receiving is very, very important right now. If there's something that you're afraid of letting go of, if you're afraid of giving, or if you're afraid of, as the church would say, sowing a seed, right? If you're afraid of sowing seed, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money, but if you're afraid of sowing seeds of something that you value, because you're afraid of losing, you're afraid of being without, this is a time where you are challenged to actually, test those waters, test being able to release something, to let it go, which Kali talks about even in liberation. When you hold on to things that you should let go of, then something new can't grow in its place. You can't experience the proper cycle of giving and receiving, and giving again and receiving again. That flow. It's a constant flow. And that you probably experience this in your own life. Like the more you try to hold on to something, the more you try to hold on tight to money, afraid to sow it, afraid to grow it, afraid to invest it, afraid to invest in yourself, then it's not like it just sits there. Eventually it goes away anyway, and you don't even know where it went. It's like, okay, well, $2 went to, I bought a candy bar. Then I went to Walmart, and then it was like $25. Then that's right, I did go get something to eat. That was another $13. And then, before you know it, you're like, what happened to my money? But when you are conscious, when you are in charge of your money, you make conscious choices and conscious decisions, and you know exactly where it went, and you are intentional. This week is very important for you to be intentional about how you utilize your money, because you want to be intentional about allowing it to flow back into your life, and not feeling like you're the victim of money. That you're the victim, that money's just always leaving your hands, or that it's always going. And so the Six of Pentacles is reminding you to get balance, and to be in balance, and to be okay with the flow. Learn to be okay with the flow. Learn to be okay with receiving. Learn to be okay with letting go, and understanding that that's what's coming back to you. Because with us being in Scorpio season is a lot about releasing, letting go, death, putting, releasing basically. But then Taurus, that full moon that we're experiencing, is about receiving again. So they are opposite signs, Taurus and Scorpio, that we are all experiencing right now. So we're all experiencing and being affected by that energy, no matter what sign we are. So nature, the universe right now is teaching us about the law of giving and receiving, the law of reciprocity, and knowing that, what you put out flows back to you. And this card here, the Four of Swords, is really about surrender. It really is about laying it down, laying down your mental energy, because the swords deal with mental energy. So if you, Okay, so this week we are looking at, what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to your goals, or staying committed to manifesting your desires. And so the Four of Swords is like, some of you may be feeling like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to, no, I'm almost there. It's almost the end of the year. I got 2 more things to do. I got to do, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing anything or working towards manifesting your desires. But the Four of Swords is really about surrendering, which goes back to Kali energy. It's all about surrendering. It's all about, There's certain things that you might not know. You got to give your brain a rest. You got to allow your brain to rest. You got to get back into this garnet energy here, which is about being rooted and grounded. If you're so far in your head so much of the time that you're so mentally, you may be so far away from where you're trying to go, and so it's time to get grounded and rooted again. The Four of Swords is saying lay it down, like basically just calm yourself, stay calm, relax, understand that there are certain laws that it's really about getting in the flow. It's about getting in the flow. Like I'm saying here, there's a flow of reciprocity. There's that law of giving and receiving and giving and receiving again, giving and receiving again. And I would encourage a lot of you to really study even the laws of the universe, like the laws of cause and effect, the laws of reciprocity, the law of rhythm, the law, all of those. Of which the law of attraction is a part of that. But, it's not about figuring everything out. It's about really getting in the flow. When you get in the flow, when it's time to give and when it's time to receive. So you're not giving when you should be receiving and receiving when you should be giving, right? You're in the flow and you're liberating yourself from the need to satisfy everybody else, from the need to, be further along than where you are because you feel so far behind. No, you are where you are. That right now is just a check-in time. Where are you right now? Get in the flow. Get in the flow of the things that you even say that you want. So if, we're staying committed to manifesting our desires, and your desire is, for example, to get your body back in shape. Well, what does that look like? And it's not about working out, because you hate the way your body looks so bad. It's about getting in the flow of loving yourself, getting in the flow of loving your physical body, loving it so much that you're willing to get up and work out, loving, appreciating, even saying those words of affirmation in your sleep. Because the Four of Swords is also that subconscious mind is resting your mind. So, in your mind, instead of thinking about, what's not right with your body or what's out of order with your money or how far away you are from your goals, start speaking to yourself, about you already being the person who has the things that you say that you want. I have a quote in my book that says, right now I am the woman who deserves to live outwardly the life that I envision and desire inwardly. And that's an affirmation that I tell a lot of people to say sometimes, right now I am the woman or the man, whoever. Right now, I am the person who deserves to live outwardly the life that I envision and desire inwardly. So that may be an affirmation that many of you need to say this week. Instead of keeping your brain focused on, what is out of order, start seeing yourself in order and seeing yourself balanced and in harmony, and then start speaking to yourself in that way. All right, so wow. So the wisdom card that you received is a card called Round and Round. So let's read what that card has to say. Round and Round typically deals with going through cycles over and over again. Oh my gosh, which is so fitting with us being in Mercury retrograde. I really hope that some of y'all invest in yourselves with only $10 and click the link down below to get my audio class, the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde season, because Mercury retrograde will send you through a repetitive cycle. Like old people will come back into your life, old arguments will come back up, traffic will slow down, technology will slow down, all this stuff. And instead of being frustrated about it, it's about seeing it for what it is so that you can get out of the cycle, so that you can get out of the round and round pattern. All right, so let's see what Round and Round has to say to you this week. Round and round, the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated. Cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. The appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. All right. So instead of saying, gosh, here I am again, here I go again, why am I in this stagnation again? Or why has this person come back into my life? Or, whatever. And I can't wait till the new year so I can just get it right. And I keep telling people you got to start getting it right before the new year. You can't wait till January, right? Instead of that, look at if you're in another pattern or cycle, look at it and say, wow, okay, I see where I am. All right. So what did I learn last time I was here? Okay. Now let me get out of it because I've been here before. I already know all the trap doors. I already know the secret pathways out. It's time to get out. And with this full moon in Taurus sitting right across the sky from the sun in Scorpio, it's like Scorpio is saying, yeah, these are the secret dark places that maybe you've been avoiding in your life. And Taurus is like, okay, if you keep your vision and everything focused on your commitments and your values, what you value most in life, that's how you get out of the cycle. All right. So that is it. For those of you who selected card group number 1, I want to thank you all so much. It really means a lot to me that you are tuning in and commenting your card selections. Make sure that you comment your card selections by Monday, November, 11th, in order to be in the running to win our November giveaway. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down below so that you can begin to comment earlier. The people over there commenting on my on those pages as well. So make sure that you follow me there and go back and listen to the opening intuitive message so that you can get deeper insight into this particular reading. And also make sure that you listen to this reading again throughout the week, because sometimes something is said when you hear it the first time, you miss it, or it doesn't really mean anything to you. But then as the week goes on, you're like, oh, okay, Tonya, I get it now, So make sure you come back to this reading and listen to this message again. All right. So until we speak again, I am wishing you all so much peace and love. Thanks for watching. All right. Greetings and welcome to the results for those of you who selected card group number 2. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you were one of the ones who used the timestamp to skip ahead. Make sure that you click the link down below in order to book a personal reading, to get my book, The Magic of Self-Love, and to also leave a love offering or a donation. No donation is too small or too big. I really greatly appreciate those of you who do leave donations, because it just lets me know that you are loving what I'm doing. So thank you very much. Make sure that you follow me, the links down below for Facebook and Instagram, because those of you who are following me over there actually typically get to see the cards first and comment, which leads me to my next announcement. Make sure you comment your card selections by Monday, November 11th, in order to be in the running to win our November giveaway. Every week that you comment, your name is put in the hat an additional time, so it increases your chances of winning. Also, make sure that you listen to my opening intuitive message. I'm going deep about us being in Scorpio season and us having this full moon in the sign of Taurus this week, because every time I do an opening intuitive message, it will relate to the actual reading. So you want to make sure that you check in on that as well. And then also get my new audio class. It's very limited time. And as I'm recording this, I'm only making it available to, I believe, only 12 more people. My new audio class titled The 10 Tips to Surviving. Excuse me, why do I always say that? Not surviving. The 10 tips to thriving, y'all. Thriving during Mercury retrograde. This is the last Mercury retrograde for 2019. And I strongly believe that those who know how to navigate it will be perfectly positioned for success in 2020. Because 2020, I really believe, will be a big year for a lot of people. All right, so that is it for our announcements. All right, so the stone that is at the top of your cards is a citrine. Citrine is a rather popular stone, and I will say that, if you had a collection, if somebody said you could only have 5 stones, citrine would be in that top 5 for me. May be different for you, but it is one of those stones that a lot of people love because it is a joy stone. It does help to help you to resonate on the level of joy and creativity and prosperity and abundance. A lot of times people who own businesses will, have this stone in their cash register, or people will carry a smaller version of this, in their wallets. Because it's very much connected to your sacral and your solar plexus chakras, which really deal with you exerting your energy into the world and shining your light into the world, but also being creative, tapping into your creativity, which also helps you to tap into your abundance. And so if you want to know more about this stone, you know what I always tell y'all to do. Google citrine. All right. I hope this doesn't make a loud noise, but I got to scoot closer to the table. All right. So this week we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifesting your deepest desires. Your deepest desires are represented by us being in Scorpio season, but that commitment is very much connected to us having this full moon this week in the sign of Taurus. And so that's why this money, everybody has the gold money on top of their cards this week. Because Taurus, that full moon in Taurus really helps us to see our values. What do we value? And, oftentimes money is a symbol of value, but it's not the only symbol of value. But a lot of times where your money goes shows what you do value, right? So if you value your family and you invest in them and you take care of them and you buy your children the clothes that they need, or you provide the food that they need, then how you are utilizing your money in that way, for example, is a sign of what you value. So it's very important. I would even go, I'm really feeling that some of you this week really need to look at where your money has been flowing. Because if you're constantly in lack, and even if you don't earn a lot of money, it's not so much about that. But I really think that some of you this week is going to be very important to really take time to see where your money is actually being utilized, how you are, quote unquote, spending your money. Not as a form of judgment, but just so you can see what you value. Because some of you may not even know what you value. Like if I said, what do you value most? And then if I say, well, how does your money flow to those areas of your life that you say you value most? And money is really just a form of energy. So how are you flowing energy to those areas in your life that you say you value the most? And so if you say you value your health the most, but there should be a correlation between how your energy is poured, that energy like citrine, right? Your willpower, how is your energy being used and spent and poured into your health? And so this week with that Taurus full moon, Taurus full moon is definitely going to challenge you to be committed in the areas of your life that you say that you value the most. All right. So let's see. Whoa, I normally don't even turn that around that fast, but that's all right. I'll go on and do it. I think she came up a couple of weeks ago. Wow. Y'all, when I shuffle the deck before I lay the cards down, I always ask which goddesses want to speak. Who has a word? Who has a word of wisdom for my audience? And whether you believe in the goddesses or not, whether you believe they actually existed or not, is really... you might just be somebody who can read their mythology and just gain information and wisdom from their stories. But, the goddesses have messages for us all, men, women, it doesn't matter. They have messages for us all. So this week we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifesting your desires. And having Artemis here, oh my gosh, look at that word up under her name, focus. Focus, y'all, focus, which is one of the key attributes of Taurus. So with us getting ready to have this Taurus full moon, wow, this is so fitting to get, this particular goddess to come, to say, hey, I got some things to say, because look at her, y'all. She's got her bow and her arrow, and she's got her eye on the prize, and she knows what she's shooting to, what she knows what she's aiming for, right? And that's what I just said, even about y'all's money. It's not so much about judgment. Sometimes people get all caught up on, oh, you spent this amount of money on this. To me, it don't even matter. You know what I mean? Whatever you value the most is where your money is going to go, is where your energy is going to go, is where your attention is going to go. What is the saying? Where your attention goes, energy flows. So wherever your attention goes, if you spend all day just watching TV, that's not neither good nor bad as far as I'm concerned, but you just got to be prepared to handle whatever the outcome of that is. And then you have to ask yourself, why do I give so much attention in this direction? And I want to go even further to say, and because we're in Mercury retrograde, we want to also be mindful that we are not giving attention to things that don't matter. Things that drain our energy, things that drain our money, things that drain our creativity, things that drain or steal our willpower. Artemis is very much about her own willpower. She was look at her. She ain't no just love and light beauty goddess, you know what I'm saying? She's a goddess of focus, of drive, of, the hunt, a huntress, so, we want to be mindful of that in this week, that where our attention goes is where our money flows, is where our energy flows. And so let's see, I'm going to read the message that this goddess has for you this week. Let's see. And I'll read two messages, the empowerment message and the alignment message. And the alignment message just tells you, like, if you find yourself out of alignment with the empowerment message, how to get back into alignment. All right. So the empowerment message says, in order to fully embrace the intentions you have set in motion and your current conditions, it's important to seize the moment. Now is the time you can truly make your mark, as the Greek goddess of the hunt, Artemis, will help guide your arrow. Surrender yourself to the process of whatever is calling for your attention. Immerse yourself fully in whatever needs your focus, and allow yourself the experience of deep, abiding trust. If you aim true and your heart is open and pure, grateful for all the bounty that surrounds you, your deepest desires will manifest before you like magic. Wow. So staying focused is really important for you all, and knowing where your attention is flowing and going. All right. I keep moving this, so I'm trying to get it in the light, y'all, but I don't know. This card ain't, the light, where the light is, and whatever, it don't even matter. Let me continue. Stay focused, Tonya, stay focused. All right. So the alignment message is, sometimes you can be so focused on one thing, one way, one outcome, or one expectation that you can run the risk of losing the opportunity to experience what you genuinely desire. Oh my God, y'all. You may be so fixated that you become blind to what is truly yours and what will be in your best and highest good. The goddess of the hunt offers this alignment task. Soften your focus and allow the fulfillment of your desire to come to you as it will. Whether you hit your mark now is not the point. Rest your eyes and release the tension in your body. By taking this break, you will avoid shooting yourself in the foot and instead recognize that you are so loved. Love, success, and opportunity, all that is truly yours, will not run past you. Call on the goddess Artemis to remind you of this truth. Wow. So the opposite end of focus, and even the opposite end of Taurus, this full moon of Taurus, is lowest energy, is being so focused and so fixated that it can't be flexible. And so if you find yourself so focused and fixated in a way that's like, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this person, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this job, I gotta be this weight, I gotta get into this school, I got, that and so focused that it becomes almost an obsession, and so much so that you feel that you would be disappointed if what you desired didn't come forth in that particular form. Then the goddess Artemis is reminding you that sometimes you can be so focused in a way that is harmful to you and detrimental, and actually blocks you from your truest and highest best blessings. So that is it for Artemis. If you want to know more about this goddess, I highly encourage you to Google her. All of the goddesses have their own story, their own mythology. And through learning their stories is how we learn the lessons that they have for us. All right. So your next cards here, the cards on the bottom, the card on the bottom is your general wisdom and guidance. And then the card that crosses it lets you know what can hinder or help that general wisdom and guidance. All right. So you have the Knight of Wands and the Tower. The Knight of Wands and the Tower. All right, y'all. So let's get into this thing here. Wow. So remember, this week we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to your values so you can manifest what you desire. Excuse me, not the Knight of Wands, the King of Wands. Wow. The King of Wands is very focused, y'all. The energy of the King of Wands, and this can be you or this could be somebody in your life, but the King of Wands is somebody who is so alluring in a lot of ways. Like on one end, I mean, the King of Wands is the man, right? Like he is a man of power. All of the Wands card indicates your power, your drive, your focus, your motivation. You know, what motivates you. And so the King of Wands has a very clear vision, and he is able to magnetize and draw the people to him that he needs to help him to bring that vision about. This can be you. This can be somebody else in your life. This can be, I feel like some of you, this is a power that you possess, and you need to really tap into that magnetizing power. On one hand, for some of you. I didn't say this at the beginning, but take what really resonates with you, and then what doesn't. I will give two sides to this reading, and you can pick which one resonates with you most. So on one hand, the King of Wands here I'm really feeling a very strong, almost undeniable, irresistible, even if you want to resist it, it's hard to resist it kind of power. You may be the one possessing this power, but on the other hand, it could be somebody else. And it's very important. It's very important for many of you to know, like the stone citrine. I don't want to move this card, but the stone that y'all have is up under this card. Citrine is all about knowing your own willpower, being clear on your own desires. And it really helps you to tap into your own solar plexus energy so that you can exert your own will into the world, so you can go after your own goals, so that you can let your own light shine, right? So for some of you, there may be somebody in your life whose will is stronger than yours. I'm really feeling that with this King of Wands. There may be somebody or something, or, I mean, even though it's a King of Wands, it doesn't even have to be a man. I mean, it could be your mama. It could be the job that you work for. I mean, I don't know. Only you know what this means for you. But there's like something or someone whose will is stronger than yours, and it's only because their vision is stronger. They're more committed. They don't get knocked down because something didn't work out. The King of Wands is so focused on on achieving his desired end result, and seeing his end result, and ruling his kingdom, that he doesn't let roadblocks block him. He doesn't let things stump him. He doesn't let anybody else sit in his seat of power other than him. So if there's somebody else that is sitting in your seat of power, well, it's even reminded me of that book called, I believe it's called The Seat of the Soul. You know, when you think about your soul and the solar plexus, your soul, your will, so if there's somebody else sitting in your seat of power, then it's then it's through you that they are manifesting their desires. But you have to ask yourself, like, are you the one who's still focused, like Artemis, on where you're going? Is it you who is still on the path to your desires? Is it you that is still manifesting the abundance? Or what do you value? Because again, with us being in Scorpio season, Scorpio represents your deepest, darkest desires, but then having this full moon in Taurus sitting opposite end of it in the sky, that Taurus full moon is about to challenge us this week to make sure, are we committed to what we said we desire? Or let me speak to you. Are you committed to what you said you desire? Or are you allowing someone else, something else, or even some other hidden fear to guide your desires? Are you letting someone else, or do you feel so weak in your desires, or is there a lack of confidence to where you're turning your power over to someone else or to something else? The King of Wands is not a bad card. If this is you that's sitting in your seat of power, then that's a good thing, but if it's somebody else sitting in your seat of power, if there's somebody else that you always feel like, if they don't approve, then I can't do it. If they reject me, then I can't have it. If they laugh at me because I say I want this, then I guess I won't ever have it. Then you're out of alignment with your own purpose for being here. And I'm saying all of this because it is crossed by the tower, and the tower oftentimes does represent like total, like the walls coming down. The walls coming down, and coming down in a way that's not really pleasant, right? And I'm not saying this to be fear, to strike up any fear, but coming down in a way that is not really pleasant. Like it almost gives me the feeling of like you just can't live like that anymore. You either have to sit in your own driver's seat and to be confident and strong, or get ready for that tower to fall. Get ready for things to collapse, especially with us being in Mercury retrograde right now. Like, but then on the other hand, some of you, I'm actually feeling, how do I want to say this? How should it be said? The King of Wands. What I'm feeling though, for some of you, you may have even displayed this image of strength and power that you deep down inside didn't really feel that you had or were worthy of. And so that image is what's being torn down. Scorpio season, with us being Scorpio season is always about the unadulterated, naked, most vulnerable truth. So some of you may have been hiding behind this image of the King of Wands, of being so empowered and so strong, or maybe you have a spouse or a partner who is this person, and you've been kind of hiding in their shadow. And Scorpio season is like, it's saying it's an end to that illusion that you have of yourself, or that part of you that is hidden behind somebody else's strength, is being torn down. And you will have to stand there in your naked, unadulterated truth. You have to stand there and learn what it's like to be like Artemis, to be, a goddess or a god, whoever's watching, who can stand squarely in authentic power. Because the King of Wands, when he's being in his authentic power, and there's no just false bravado attached to that, look at this. He's carrying the Ankh. He brings life. He's that life force energy. He's that, that strength, that power, that in a strong, in a powerful way. It's almost like I'm feeling, those of you who are familiar even with like Yoruba, Shango energy, that Shango energy of confidence and power, but not the prideful part of Shango, and not the egotistical part, that sometimes you hear about in his story, but that part of Shango that's like, I'm fruitful, I'm abundant, I bring life, I bring power, I bring the fire energy. Citrine is a fire stone. I bring that fire, I bring that life. See that Ankh, you know what I mean? I bring eternal life. I bring consistent life, and if anything dies, that's okay, because I can bring it back to life again. I have that spark, like this fire right here. Once I spark that energy, Woo, some of y'all. Yeah, some of y'all might spark some really strong energy this week. Some of you might come into your power this week. And because see some people might be so used to looking at y'all in your weaker state, or you putting your desires to the back burner. Oh, I feel it so strongly. Somebody hear me, y'all. I hope whoever needs to hear this hears it. Some of you may come so strongly into your power this week that those walls that other people try to build up around you, you will burn down. You will tear them down simply by standing in your power, simply by saying hell no to things that you should have been saying hell no to a long time ago, simply by saying yes to the things that you value and love most in your life, simply by recommitting to your values and what you love most in your life and bringing life to that. You are the one who brings life to your values. And if you've been sitting around waiting on somebody else to give you that spark that you need, waiting on somebody else, your spouse, your lover, your friends, your family to agree with you, it is so time out for that. Whoever it needs to hear that, I pray to God you are hearing it. It is so time out for that, because some of you have been sitting trapped in a tower of your own doing. And when I say your own doing, see, it's so easy to look at, well, this person won't let me do this person rejected me, this person, laughed at me when I said no. But if you are the King of Wands and you're so focused on your desires, your goals, your wishes, your dreams for your life, it don't matter. It don't give a damn about what nobody else, no box that other people try to put you in. So just you sitting in your own power will actually tear down the walls of the things that have kept you blocked and stagnant and stuck for so long. So I just gave about 3 different scenarios. You decide which one matters, is the one that most resonates with you. Either you have been given this false image of the King of Wands, but really you just been a hidden punk ass that's scared, and so this time out, and the hidden punk ass is about to be totally destroyed. Or somebody else has been sitting in your seat of power and it's time out for that's about to be destroyed. Or you're coming into your power, which I really feel strongly is a lot of people. You're coming into your power this week. That Taurus full moon sitting in opposition of the Scorpio sun is like saying it is time out for the shenanigans and the shit show and the shit lies that you've been telling yourself. It's time to sit in your own power. Say yes where you need to say yes. Say no where you need to say no. Give light, life, and energy. Wherever your attention goes is where your energy flows. That life force, that ankh that's right there. Give life to what needs to be given life to, and tear down things that no longer, are necessary in your life. And really, you won't even have to tear it down. Just you standing in your seat of power will eliminate even structures that seem like they're so formidable, and things that you've been through that seem like they just can't be eliminated or destroyed, or obstacles that you feel like you just can't get over. You'll watch those towers begin to fall. All right, so the wisdom card that you received is a card. TikTok. Wow. So TikTok really deals with, divine timing. Divine timing. So let's see the message that TikTok has for you this week. TikTok. Timelessness. Divine timing. Immeasurable time. When humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. Oh, wow. So that is powerful. Y'all haven't missed nothing. Those of you who feel like, you wasted a lot of time, or you lost a lot of time, or, you wish you could go back and fix and redo or whatever, that's all right. Time don't even really exist anyway. It does, but it doesn't. We live in time and outside of time. We ain't even gonna go into that right now, because why? I ain't got time. I got to get to the next group. But But TikTok is like saying, you might be thinking about the clock, you might be thinking about the amount of times you have, but I promise you, those of you who need to sit in your seat of power, the moment you do, you will actually regain back a lot of the time that you feel that you have lost. So that is y'all's reading for this week, November 10th through the 16th. Make sure that you comment your card selections down below on or before Monday, November 4th. And when you do, you will automatically be included in the running to win our November giveaway. I was about to forget what month we're in, y'all. Make sure you click the links down below to book a personal reading. Get the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde, because I can't overstate this enough. I really feel like those of us who get in position now, 2020 will be just a huge blessing. And so invest in yourself. That's only $10, and I'll only have a limited amount of downloads left. But when you do, you will get automatic access to that hour-long class, the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde season. Make sure you leave a love offering or donation if this reading has benefited you in any kind of way. And until we speak again, you know what I'm wishing y'all. So much peace and love. Talk soon. All right, y'all. So welcome to the results for card group number 3. I will quickly go over the announcements for those of you who perhaps use the timestamp to skip ahead. Make sure that you go back and listen to my opening intuitive message, because I go in deep about us being in Scorpio season, but also how we are experiencing on November 12th a full moon in the sign of Taurus. So Scorpio is our deepest desires. Taurus is our commitment and our focus, which gives you our focus for this week, which is what do you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to staying committed to manifest your deepest desires and your values. Make sure you click the link below to book a personal reading to get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. I have, as the moment that I'm recording this, I only have about 12 more, I believe, downloads of my class, the 10 tips to thriving during Mercury retrograde season. That class is over an hour long. It's an audio class. You can listen to it anywhere. But this is the last Mercury retrograde of 2019. And I strongly feel that those of us who know how to navigate this Mercury retrograde energy, we will actually be hugely blessed and positioned for success in 2020. So you want to make sure you get that class. It's only $10. So, invest in yourself in that way. And then also make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down below, because the people who follow me there actually get the first a couple of hours or half a day before everybody else. They actually get to see the cards of the week and go ahead and start making their selections. And so thank you to everybody who's following me on Instagram and Facebook, but also those of you who started following me here on YouTube. I really do appreciate that. And speaking of appreciation, make sure that you leave a love offering or a donation if these readings are benefiting you in any kind of way. There's no donation that is too small or too big. I greatly appreciate all gifts of love and appreciation. All right. So the stone that is at the top of your cards is a rose quartz. Isn't it pretty, y'all? Rose quartz is a stone of love, self-love, compassion, love of another, your children, your spouse, your partner, your lover. Learning how to forgive. It really connects to all matters of the heart. It helps to elevate energy. And it's very interesting with us being in Scorpio season. And, Scorpio, it does deal with the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves. It is the season of, even death and things like that. But when I say death, I mean, if you think about it, it's when we celebrate Halloween and All Saints Day and Day of the Dead. So it's about recognizing that death is a part of life, but it's also about loving those who have gone before you and honoring and respecting them as well. So it's still connected to that love energy and being able to transform lower energy, energy of fear, hate, jealousy, envy into love. So, rose quartz is a very powerful stone. And this is one of my stones that I say, like, if you can only have 5 stones, and I think citrine is one of those too. I mentioned that in the previous reveal. But if you can only have 5 stones in your arsenal, rose quartz has got to be one of them. You got to have that. So if you don't have a rose quartz, maybe you're just getting into gemstones or whatever, it's definitely a stone that's worth having. And I might do a video soon with some friends of mine that really work with gemstones and are really knowledgeable with gemstones, because I think that a lot of times we just get these stones and we just like, oh, I have it, so now my world should be revolutionized. And it's like, no, they lend their energy to you and you lend your energy to them. So when you get a stone, you gotta tell it what you want it to do. You gotta talk to it. You gotta treat it well, and say, hey, rose quartz, I love for you to assist me and guide me, in this area of my life, or I'm gonna carry you in my pocket, or I'm gonna make a ring out of you, so that every time that I'm holding you or you're in my possession, my own love energy is increased. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, so I'll leave that there. If you want to know more about this particular stone, rose quartz, you know what I always tell y'all to do? Google rose quartz. All right. So everybody has this gold note at the top of their cards. And that's because this week we are looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of, as it is related to staying committed to your values and staying committed so that you can actually manifest your deepest desires. Scorpio season being your desires, but this full moon in Taurus represents your commitment and your values. And so money oftentimes is used as a symbol of value, and how your money is utilized can a lot of times indicate even what you value the most, and it doesn't matter, how big or how small your money is, but where it flows typically is a demonstration of what is most important to you. Is not necessarily right or wrong. It's just an indication of what is most important to you. And so this week we are all going to be challenged on looking at how we have stayed committed to the things that we say that we are valuing most, and have we been pouring a proper amount of love and attention and energy into those things. So the card that you have at the top of your stack here comes from a goddess energy deck. And I always ask before, when I'm shuffling to do these picker cards, I ask which goddess wants to speak to which group, and then whichever one comes up is what it is. Some of the goddesses I'm familiar with, some of them I'm still learning about. So I will give my own information, how I feel, what I feel this goddess is saying, but I will also read the information that came with this card. All right. So, wow. You received white buffalo calf woman. I'm trying to keep it in light. That's why I keep moving, y'all. I gotta get this light thing situated. Anyway, white buffalo calf woman. And she deals with, as you see down here, reverence. Reverence. What do you revere? What do you hold sacred? These are questions those of you who selected card group number 3, should be asking yourself this week. What do you revere? What do I revere? What do I feel is sacred that needs to be cherished and honored and respected? A lot of times when we think about reverence, we do think in terms of just religion. We revere God or our ancestors or goddess or, our higher selves or, whatever. But I feel that we all show reverence to a lot of things, and we don't even realize we're doing it, right? And it's not right or wrong. It's just, what do you hold sacred? It could even be something as simple as I don't know why I use this example a lot, but your time in the morning when you sip your cup of coffee might be a sacred time for you. You might revere that time. You might not let anything interfere with that moment. That might be a sacred time for you, because maybe it's the time when you're most at peace with your mind. You're getting your mind ready for the day, whatever. So I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of examples that could be used for this. But what do you revere the most? What do you revere the most? So let's see what this goddess has to say to you. I will read the information that came with this card. White buffalo calf woman. Let me do it like this. So I want to be able to hold the card up a little bit. Okay, white buffalo calf woman. I will read two messages. The first one is the empowerment message, and then the second is the alignment message, which gives you wisdom on what you should do just in case you find yourself out of alignment with the empowerment message. All right. So the empowerment message says, now is the time to view your world through a lens of peace, harmony, and reconciliation. The domain of the Lakota goddess, white buffalo calf woman. It's time to leave the right/wrong, good/bad, zero-sum game world behind and enter the space where you can find the sacred ground of sharing without guile and negotiating from a desire that benefits everyone. That everyone benefits. You will be so glad you did. Take a humble yet grounded approach to your life right now. Only good will come from it. The goddess white buffalo calf woman supports this way of being in the world. Wow. And it's it's so interesting that even before I read that, I was feeling those feelings of like peace. This week really is important for those of you who selected card group number 3 to use that heart chakra energy as indicated with the love, with the rose quartz that deals with peace, because rose quartz isn't just about, finding love or romantic love or even just self-love, but all matters of the heart, and peace is a matter of the heart, finding peace, balance, and harmony. And so the alignment message says, unconscious choices and behaviors may be causing a distortion in your world. Difficult feelings are part of the journey of self-discovery. You may have been conditioned to suppress what makes you uncomfortable in order to survive. You might have found yourself in a temporary, awkward place with someone and don't know what your next step should be. White buffalo calf woman offers you this alignment task. Make the discomfort, awkwardness, and uncomfortable sacred. Think of what would happen if you made what you considered a flaw, loss, or failure a beautiful, integral part of the art of your life. Every breath you take is sacred. Every mistake you make is a gift. And every time you learn from a relationship is blessed. Bless all parts of you and your life, for you are sacred, and white buffalo calf woman wants you to be at peace. Wow. So no matter the conditions, no matter the circumstances, no matter what is gone right or gone wrong, no matter even what you're feeling, it's important to find peace about it. And not that fake kind of peace where it's like like where it talked about suppressing your emotions. Like you may have been trained to suppress your emotions. I even read, I think it was just this week. I didn't read it. I did read it. I think it was, Jada Pinkett Smith and her family are doing those red table talks. And she talked in one of those about how when her daughter Willow would cry as a child, it would just infuriate her, because to her, so much of her time growing up, Jada's time growing up, was kind of rough, right? It was all about survival. And so when you're in survival mode, you don't have time to cry. As a matter of fact, crying is seen as a sign of weakness. And so here she is, she gave birth to this daughter. And when her daughter would be upset about, just things that people get upset about, children or, teenagers, whatever, and she would express herself emotionally through tears, it would infuriate Jada. And Jada had to really reflect on that. Like, why does my daughter's tears bother me so much? Like, why do I see that as a sign of weakness? And she realized it was because she had to suppress her own emotions for so long, or she trained herself to do that in her own childhood because it was all about survival. So there, You also may have been trained either by your family or just your circumstances, your conditions, your upbringing, your neighborhood, your, where you're from, that you can't express yourself emotionally, and because that's been seen as a sign of weakness. And the white buffalo calf woman is saying that it's really time to pull yourself out of that. So crying is not a sign of weakness, and suppressing your emotions actually does more harm than good. So if you're coming back to a certain segment of your life, or something is coming back onto your path that is causing you to, rethink your emotions, and you may be tempted, what did it say? You may have been conditioned to suppress what makes you uncomfortable in order to survive. So if you are being tempted to suppress your emotions, because you're uncomfortable with them, even, you're uncomfortable with what you're feeling, this is a time to allow yourself to feel, but also to make peace with that there's power in feeling. With us being in Scorpio season, oh my gosh, y'all. I hope that y'all, down below is the link to my video, Everybody's a Scorpio, including you. No matter what sign you are, everybody's a Scorpio. And Scorpio, because Scorpio season teaches us all that this is a time for us all to dig deep to the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves, the parts of us that are most vulnerable, the parts of us that we don't want other people to see, the parts where we feel naked, even our deepest emotions. And that's why the lower energy of Scorpio energy is about, it can display as jealousy or anger or rage or wanting to fight, because it's this idea of ain't nobody gonna hurt me, ain't nobody gonna see my naked truth and talk about me or judge me, but the problem with that is that then you get comfortable with just hiding. You get comfortable with faking your emotions, or you get comfortable with perhaps knowing how you feel but hiding them because you don't want, you're fearful of other people taking advantage of that. But when you own your own emotions, when you say this is really how I feel and it's okay, that's really when you get to a point where nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can take advantage of you because of how you feel. Your tears are not your weakness. Your hurts are not even your weakness. Your hurts and your tears are actually signs of lessons that you can learn. Because Scorpio season teaches us how to go into those deepest, darkest spaces of ourselves and to pull out what's there and to transform it into something so much better and so much more powerful. And so even in this story that I just told about, Jada and her daughter Willow, Willow is Jada's own transformation. Now she's seeing what it's like, what a young woman looks like who can express herself emotionally and still sit in her own power. All right. So that is the message that this goddess has for you, and that I have, I added to that. I was just feeling that very, very strongly for a lot of you. So I hope that you heard what I said, and can use that. And then, like I always tell you all, make sure you Google this particular goddess, because all goddesses have their own mythology and their own stories. And so in learning her story, you learn more about her message to you. So the cards that you have here, the card on the bottom is your general wisdom and guidance, and the card that crosses it lets you know what can help or hinder you in that area. So, wow, you receive, wow, the 8 of Wands and the Chariot. The 8 of Wands, hope you can see that. And the Chariot. I think the Chariot came up for somebody last week. So, the 8 of Wands, swift movement. In 2 words, swift movement. The 8 of Wands is all about swift movement. If you remember, this week we are focusing on what you most need to know, do, and be aware of as it relates to honoring your commitment to manifesting your desires. Oh, gosh, that's, I'm really feeling something very strongly for somebody right now. Some of you have some desires that you've just been sitting on for a long time. And it may be because of, even what I talked about here with white buffalo calf woman. Not only have some of you perhaps trained yourself to suppress your emotions. Your desires are even emotions, so you may have trained yourself to just, some of y'all, wow, some of you have really trained yourself to only accept what is and to not go for what you truly desire in life, because you've been trained to suppress your desires. You've been trained to accept less. You've been trained to just kind of, this is the way it's always been, so this is the way it's got to be. And that puts you in a comfort zone. But you can never attain your goals. You can never manifest your desires from your comfort zone. It requires getting out of your comfort zone. I'm feeling very strongly for some of you, it's your traditions. You're afraid of breaking away from what your family has expected of you, or your family's expectation. Because this is the way the family has always done it. This is the way it's always been. This is just the way mama always did it. This is just how dare I expect or want more? How dare I expect or desire greater than, what my mama has? Who am I to even think that I can exceed my parents? It's this false pride that says, if I try to go one step further than them, then am I being egotistical, or is my family going to say, look at her, or look at him, thinking that they all that again, thinking they want this, here they go again, trying to be better than everybody else. But you are. And it's not to say that they're less than you. It just means that perhaps they have accepted and they have made peace with being stuck and stagnant, or just staying on the level that they are on. And that's okay. But if you have a greater desire within you, a burning desire within you that it's almost driving you crazy. Like you can't sleep at night. You're desiring something different. You're wanting something different. You want to go further in life. You want to live in a different place. You want to have different experiences. And you don't have to have a reason for wanting that. Like for example, you may have a great desire to go to school in Japan. To your family, that may sound crazy. And you may be trying to justify that, and you just can't find a real justification for it. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to find a real justification for it. You want it because you want it. And that's okay. You desire it because you desire it. And you're waiting on being accepted. You're waiting on the okay. You're waiting on, what is that when people are running a marathon? Or there's the Olympics, and they have the person who shoots the gun, and that gives them the signal to say go. You've been waiting on somebody to shoot that gun to give you the permission to run towards your dreams, to run towards your desires, to give you permission to go for the things that make no sense just because you want them. And I'm here to tell you, first of all, number one, this is your gunshot warning. This is it. Pow, go. And number two, you're waiting on, if you've been waiting on some grand reason to justify what you want, you're not going to understand it until you go. You're not going to understand it until you start the process. One of my favorite books in the entire world is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. If you haven't read it, please read it. And if you read it before, you're like, I already read that book. Guess what? Go get it again and read it again. Every single time I read that book, I get personal insights that I've totally forgot. That I didn't know. It just grows me in a different way every single time. And the young man in the story on his journey, it's like he wanted all this confirmation before he went. And it wasn't until he was on the journey, it wasn't until he started that he got the confirmations that he needed. And it really wasn't until he completed the journey that he fully understood the purpose of the journey. So every step along the way teaches you something new that you need to know. So the 8 of Wands is about movement, and the wands always deal with your motivation, your drive, your willpower, and what motivates you. And so this is saying it's time for swift movement towards your dreams, towards what motivates you, towards your desires. It's time to put action behind those desires and get moving towards the things that you desire the most. And what is crossing it was the Chariot. And I don't know who got this card last week, but I told this story last week. The Chariot, when you look at a chariot, how it moves is only designed for forward movement. If it makes a sharp turn to the left or a sharp turn to the right, the chariot, the wheels, tip over and the whole thing falls. Is designed for forward movement. Is designed for focus, staying focused. And this Taurus full moon that we're experiencing on November 12th, Taurus is all about focus and commitment and staying diligent and staying on your path. So us having this full moon in the sign of Taurus is reminding you that it's time for you to stay focused, to keep your eye on the prize and go straight for it. And not go to the right or to the left, or not look for this person's opinion or that person's opinion. You know what I mean? If you know you want it, that's enough to know that you should go for it. Go for it. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Stop suppressing your desires. Scorpio season reminds you of your deepest, most innermost desires, but not so that you can sit there and be jealous because other people got it and be mad because you ain't got it. It's so that you can transform those desires into your reality, into your manifested reality. So now is the time for you to expend your energy towards going towards your desires. And don't be worried about the mistakes that you may make on the way. You're going to make mistakes on the path. If you're going in a direction you've never gone in before, and you're going in the direction of your heart and your desires, you please, y'all, read The Alchemist, because that book talks all about this. But if you're going in that direction, you're going to make mistakes along the way, but those mistakes are only to grow you so that you can master your path, so that you can master the things that you're going toward. Or you can sit complacent in your comfort zone and live a life of mediocrity. That's up to you. But it looks like here it's time for you to take action, swift movement in the direction that you are desiring to go in. And so your wisdom card is yin, which is so interesting because yin is all about being receptive and I'm gonna read it to you, and it's going to say about non-action, about not taking action, but I'm going to elaborate on that because I have a feeling I know why that card came up for you all this week. So anyway, yin. Let's read what that says. The feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped and not the shaper, and you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. So, I'm glad it said it here. Yin is not about not taking action. It's not about frozen dreams or resting. But it is about conscious allowing. It's about, for you, I would say this week, it's about being very, very clear on the desires that you have. Being very, very clear on, your commitment to those desires. Paying attention to the people who have already done it and watching their movements. And how can you mirror those movements in a way that fits you so that you can do what you've never done before. It's not about, all of this looks like just being so active and blazing the trail. It may not even necessarily be about blazing a new trail. It's new to you because you've never done it. But it is about also being receptive. Yes, being receptive to those who can help you. See, some of y'all have been too yin, right? Too yin with people who can't help you. You yielding your desires, your wishes, your wants to people who are telling you don't do it. Don't go for it. Just sit still, be complacent. But this is the time to actually be yin, to be receptive to those who can give you advice on the direction that you want to go in your life, and who can give you clarity on the desires that you on the path that you see for yourself, and then to surrender to higher wisdom and guidance that is actually moving and propelling you forward in the direction that you want to go. All right. So that is it for your reading for this week, November 10th through the 16th. Make sure that you comment your card selections by November 11th, Monday, November 11th, so that you can be in the running to win our November giveaway. Also, make sure that you click the links below in order to book a personal reading, get my book, The Magic of Self-Love, but to also get the 10 tips on thriving during Mercury retrograde season, because this is, like I stated earlier, the last Mercury retrograde that we will experience in 2019. And those who can navigate it will actually be in prime position to go for their dreams, to manifest their desires in 2020. So make sure that you get that while that is still available. All right. So thank you all so much for watching. And until we speak again, I am wishing each and every one of you so much peace and love. All right. So that is it for our reading for the week of November 10th through the 16th. Again, I want to remind you, if you're watching this on or before Monday, November 11th, to comment your card selections down below in order to be entered to win our November giveaway. Every week that you do that, your name goes in the hat an additional time, which increases your chances of winning. Make sure you click down below to book a personal reading. Get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. Get the 10 tips for thriving during Mercury retrograde season while that is still available. And also leave a love offering or a donation. All donations are greatly appreciated, and no donation is too small or too big. So until we speak again, I am wishing you all so much peace and love. Thanks again for watching.